Greetings, brethren, and welcome back to the How to Get Better at Chess series, where we're going to be playing some games against some opponents, and we're going to be explaining every move I make, every move the opponent makes, what are good moves, what are bad moves, how to generally play, what good ideas are, what to look for in games, and just how to get better at chess. So we'll start here against Maria. So one of the big things you want to do is take the center with your pawns. Controlling space in chess games is very important. So we're just going to start playing e4 here with the pawn. Now, if you know openings, you don't always have to do this. There's many different ways to play. You can play this pawn, you can play knight here, many different things to do, but if you don't really know any openings and you're just either getting into chess or you're just trying to learn how to improve, we'll just play a general game here just so that you can know how to get better, what to look for in a chess game. So your opponent is letting you take more center space. So by putting this pawn in the center, you now control all four of these squares on his side of the board, which is very important. Very important for space control. See now he plays this move, which is trying to attack our center there. So we want to keep kind of our center here. So we will bring our knight forward to protect this pawn, and if he takes it, then we take back, and then we just have a knight in the center, so that's good. One of the big things you want to do is you want to get your knights out, and you want to get your bishops out right away. So to this move, he's trying to bring out his piece. He's trying to bring out his bishop, develop it, while also attacking this pawn. So if he takes this next move, then I take back, then nothing's actually defending this pawn anymore. So you have to know, what is the threat? Well, this piece is guarding this, so we want to make sure that everything is defended. So one way that we can do this is, well, we can bring out your queen here to defend both pieces, but honestly losing this part in the center is not a super big deal. I think what we will do first is just take this pawn here, so that if he takes back, he might just choose to take the knight first, which is fine too. He doesn't. We will bring queen forward to just check the king, because now the king is weak. Our knight is pinned to our king here, so we'll probably want to bring out our bishop next move just to develop the bishop, but also maybe we can attack this pawn here. Okay, so he brings this bishop forward. This bishop is now pinned to the king, so it can't go anywhere. So if, let's say, nothing was defending this pawn, like this queen wasn't here, I could actually take it because the bishop can't actually move. Of course, our knight is pinned to our king, so that doesn't quite work. So what we're going to do now is bring this bishop out. We want to bring our pieces out into battle. But now the knight here is not actually pinned to the king anymore. And if he takes, then it doesn't damage our pawn structure, which is important if you can prevent it. Another big thing is castling your king. You want to castle your king. So he pushes this forward, trying to attack both this pawn and kind of anchor in the bishop here. We can push this to kind of threaten the bishop there, but then he could take this pawn here, which isn't defended by anything, but then we can just take his bishop, and if he takes back, then we take back here. So I think I will go for that, just to kind of put some pressure on the bishop here. If your opponent only has a couple pieces out, he only has this bishop and this bishop out, you kind of want to, if you can make moves that you can threaten their pieces and they have to move somewhere, whether he takes here or whatever he does, then he just loses pieces in the center. See, he does this, but we can take this back over here, and if he takes the knight, then we just take back with the bishop, and then we have an open file for the rook, which is very important. We will have some doubled pawns, but we have more than enough compensation for that. And there we go. So now we have an open rook. Now our next, probably next thing we'll want to do is just bring out this knight and then bring out this bishop somehow so that we can castle our king, because our king's a little bit weak. Of course, we can think about what is pointing at what. Well, this bishop's pointing at this, and if he does nothing about that, then that rook is actually trapped, because on the next move, the rook can't go anywhere. So we'll keep an eye out for that. We'll just see what my opponent wants to do here. He brings out the knight, which is good. Now he's going to want to try and castle, and there's nothing we can really do. We can't take this knight because the queen defends. So what we'll do is we will just bring our knight out here, try to bring out the bishop, just get the pieces into battle if there's not really a clear way forward. Yeah, so we'll see what our opponent does. What is our opponent going to do? They're probably going to want to castle, and they'll probably want to bring this knight out, which is totally fine. We're equal on material, nothing insane has happened. You got to think, what's looking at what is defending what? Like, for instance, yeah, okay, he just does this. I will, what's one way that we can get this bishop out? Well, we can move the queen somewhere, so we can try to threaten something with the queen. Like, we could bring the queen out here to this square, which also lets the bishop get out on the next turn. That doesn't look so bad to me. We'll try that. Of course, there's other ways. You could bring this pawn forward and then try to fianchetto the bishop. That's what it's called when you kind of have this setup here, and then you'll castle. But castling is definitely on our next order. And if you're the opponent, if you're black, you're going to want to try to stop us from castling. Okay, we'll bring out the bishop here to defend this knight against this. He might try to bring out his rook to try and like pin the bishop to our king so that he can't take, but we'll castle in time, and also the bishop is defended by this. Okay, he just gets his queen off the square, his king off the square there, which gives us a free opportunity to castle, which is very nice. If he ever moves his queen, because his queen is defending this knight, the pawn is, but if he moves his queen somewhere, we'll just take this. If he moves his queen somewhere, then I might want to take this this knight, just because then he'll have to damage his pawn structure, and then his king will be a little bit weak. Also, something to note of here, I can't attack this pawn because it's defended by both the knight and the queen, but if I'm able to get rid of this knight, then I can actually win this pawn in the center. And my opponent actually lets me do this here. Because if I go like this, if I take this knight, which is defending this pawn, he has to take back with either the queen or with the pawn. If he wants to try to hang on to this pawn a little longer, he'll have to take back like that. But now we can just take, we can take this pawn here with either or. I'm just trying to decide what's better, because we can take with both. If I take with this, then I threaten both this in the corner and this over here. But if I take with the queen, then he'll probably have to take back, because I can just do both, or I will take his queen. We'll just take back with the queen. We're up a pawn, so that's very good. Queen trades when you're up any material is really good, because then they can't do much to you. Okay, he does. And this is a fork. He can't protect both this pawn and this pawn, which is very nice for me. And I have an active bishop. His knight is still out in the corner. It can't really do anything. Okay, so he brings his king forward to try and protect this pawn, which is fine. We have to think of, remember, I was attacking both of these pawns. And now I'm attacking this pawn, which also traps the rook in the corner, because if you move this knight anywhere, or if you move this pawn anywhere, I can still take the rook on the next turn. Even if you can take back with your other rook, I'll just be up material. So that's... And he doesn't even defend it. Maria is just falling apart here, which is fine. Once you're up a little bit of material, sometimes it's easier to play the game a little bit. So he's probably trying to go for like this corner over here. That's totally fine. We're going to try to want to bring our rook this rook here to the party. If I go like this knight can't actually move anywhere, because if you go there, I take with the rook. If you go there, then I take with the bishop. Obviously, I don't take with the rook now if it goes there, because I'll just lose the piece, but... Okay. So... we'll just give this check here. Now it's all about, when you're up material, all what you're going to want to do is try and trade the pieces down so that you get an endgame that you're winning. Okay, we'll just go like this. The bishop and pawn pair is very strong because there's no pawns that can attack this back pawn or the bishop. So the bishop was just kind of live here forever. Now we do have some passed pawns, which we'll probably want to try and push and promote. Okay, brings his king back there. Another really important thing is having rooks connected. If you can get any rooks on the back rank, well, the 7th rank, I suppose. So the second on the back rank, it's very, very, very strong. And in this position, when I can get both rooks on the back rank, I can just kind of start plowing through stuff on the back rank here, which is very, very important. See, my opponent allows this. They can't really stop it, honestly. This is a fork, but also not really, because I can just take this pawn with check and then move my other rook out of the position. So this is very, very tricky for my opponent. So what do I want to do here? Well, so he's trying to defend this pawn, but I can put a little bit more pressure on this pawn with this bishop. Now this still is a fork, but not at the end of the day once I start taking over here. So see, now I can take with this, and he basically has to take back with the rook, but the rook is defended by this bishop. And now, if I go like this, right here, this knight can never leave. So this rook covers all of these squares. Okay, I guess I forgot about that one, but still. So now, well, I have a whole bunch of pawns on this side, so I will try to promote them. Try to make a queen. That's an easy way to win a game. Make a queen. Okay, don't want to just hang my bishop there, so we'll make sure we bring it back. It's protected. This rook is never going to die because it's protected by this bishop here. Usually you can just take this, but I'm not even going to worry about it right now, because if he takes, then I can take back with my king. I could just, obviously it's a free pawn, I can take with my rook, but just for the sake of speed, you can just focus on trying to bring this pawn to the end to try and do a ladder checkmate. Okay, so he brings back his knight trying to defend the square to promote, but all I have to do is kind of deflect it somehow so I can bring my rook over, whatever I need to do just to get that done. Okay, I will do this now, and he has no choice but to let me promote to a queen now. He takes. Like I said, I can just take back with the king. No problems, no tricks. Okay, so he does that to stall for a second. I guess he can, yeah, he moves back to there. We'll just go here. Now there's no way it can be defended. So we'll make ourselves a queen. And now we'll just try to do a ladder checkmate on this guy. You can just get rid of all of the pawns. Here, we'll go like this. You can get rid of everything on his board, so you can set up like a super easy kind of checkmate. You don't have to. You can figure out a way to do it. Does hang my bishop, but it's okay, because at the end of the day, I just have to, well, I guess it's not hanging anymore. So what do I want to do? Well, probably just try to get this bishop out of the equation. And then now, just make sure that every single move you make is a check so that you don't stalemate. That is an important thing at the end of the game. Make sure that just everything is a check. So he goes here. We don't have to make everything a check anymore. We just have to get our rook on the back rank to cover off all the squares of the king. And there you go. That is checkmate. So hopefully this instructional video of how to get better at chess helped you. And make sure to tune in for the next one. See you later, guys.